Good morning. It is Monday, November 24th. I'm Elizabeth Hasselbeck. A Fox News alert. Uncertainty strangling Ferguson, Missouri as the grand jury shocks prosecutors and asks to meet again. Police putting up barricades and working overtime, waiting for the verdict. We are live on the ground.
And now a nationwide debate over police and race.
Wait,
the
let's
white
not make
police
this.
officers won't be there if you weren't killing each other.
Hang on.
70
the defensive mechanism of white supremacy at work in your mind.
Mayor Rudy Giuliani reacting to that accusation just moments ago right here on this couch. You will see it again.
The mornings are always better right here.
Live from the news crossroads of the world, this is Fox and Friends.
And welcome on this special Monday. Brian is off and Peter Johnson is in. You know what? This is one of my favorite weeks of the year because number one, aside from the great food, but your whole family tries to get together.
It's a nice,
wonderful.
It's a nice family holiday.
I love
for
it.
sure. Not a lot of pressure on it like the others.
Christmas and Thanksgiving. Twins.
Starts
Wonderful.
quite a month. All right.
Great
To have you as well. And we start with a Fox News alert, and all eyes are on Ferguson, Missouri.
Police barricades are in place at the courthouse as the grand jury is set to reconvene in a matter of hours.
And Adam Housley is live outside of the courthouse in Clayton. Adam, good morning.
Good morning, Steve, Peter, and Elizabeth. Yeah, you mentioned the grand jury is expected to be here this morning. The one thing we can tell you is that no one really knows for sure what is going to happen. A lot of speculation out there as the waiting game continues. I'm going to give you a live look here. You can see the courthouse behind me, Buzz Westfall Justice Center here in Clayton. It's about 16, 18 miles or so away from Ferguson where the protests there have taken place. However, they are prepared here for protests as well, as there are barricades around this courthouse, and they've cleared the parking lot back a bit, moved the media back to provide the area in case protests do take place here. The grand jury is expected to meet inside. Nobody knows what time that's going to take place, how long it'll take place, and whether or not they'll even come to a decision today. Meantime, there's been some rough weather the last few days, so there haven't been a lot of protests at all. In fact, the streets have been rather quiet. However, on Saturday night, there were a few dozen protesters who did take to the street despite the rain and the cold, demanding for justice. It wasn't like anything we saw last summer or even in the last few weeks, but there were some out there. That's really the only major display of opposition to the police department here and what's happened back in August that we've seen really in the last few days because of that. Now, we had a chance to talk, or to hear, I should say, from the family attorney yesterday on some of the Sunday shows, and he continues to really stoke the racial tensions and believes that racism did take part. Take a listen.
You know what? In America, we have a constitution. You have a right to trial by jury. And I have no doubt if they were to indict the police officer, he will be guaranteed his full constitutional rights of innocent to proven guilty. He will get every benefit of the doubt. I don't worry about the due process for Officer Wilson. I worry about the due process for the little black boy dead on the ground.
Again, very controversial comments by the family attorney. He's been told it'll take 6 hours, or they'll give a 6-hour warning, but authorities here, at least on the federal side of things, say they've been told up to 2 days potentially might be given as a warning once the jury does come to a decision. But again, all we know, guys, is everybody has speculation here, and the one thing that is true and constant is it is a waiting game that continues today here in Clayton. Back to you in New York.
All right, Adam Housley live in Clayton, which is about 20 minutes away from Ferguson. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Adam. Certainly a time of high anxiety and tensions are rising while we await the decision there, certainly between two debating individuals here. Former Mayor Rudy Giuliani versus Professor Dyson got into it over the violence in the black communities and who is to blame. Take a listen to this.
I find it very disappointing that you're not discussing the fact that 93% of blacks in America are killed by other blacks. We're talking about the exception here.
First of all, most black people who commit crimes against other black people go to jail. Number two, they are not sworn by the police department as a agent of the state to uphold the law. So in both cases, that's a false equivalency that the mayor has drawn, which is exacerbated tensions that are deeply embedded in American culture. Black people who kill black people go to jail. Black people who kill black people go to jail. White people who are policemen who kill black people do not go to jail. If a jury can indict a ham sandwich, why is it taking so long?
How about 70 to 75% of the crime in my city?
How about your
takes
attitude
place
reinforces
in black
the
cities?
Problematic
all right, I think this is a debate.
That prevails in the culture. So
this is
how
a
about
debate.
you reduce crime?
This is a debate.
When I become mayor, I'll do that.
Wait,
the
let's
white
not make
police
this.
officers won't be there if you weren't killing each
Look
other.
at this.
Hang on.
This is the defensive mechanism of white supremacy at work in your minds.
All right.
That last part was kind of hard to hear, but Professor Dyson said it's to Rudy, it's the defensive mechanism of white supremacy at work in your mind. All right, he said that. Rudy was actually on the couch right here just about an hour ago and said this about that.
The danger to a black child in America is not a white police officer. That's going to happen less than 1% of the time. The danger to a black child, if it was my child, the danger is another black. 93% of the times, they're going to be killed by another black. Blacks are basically killing other blacks. And these people are spending millions and millions of dollars demonstrating. They have every right to do it. Why don't they spend an equal amount of time trying to straighten out that horrendous crime problem that exists?
There is a terrible crime problem, and it all started when Rudy Giuliani, simply on Meet the Press, brought up known statistics about crime.
Yeah, and he stated right here on our Harvey Couch how many lives were saved under his administration, and really that, if you want to call that white supremacy, he said you're going to have a little problem there when you get into the numbers.
All right,
about the color.
Switching gears.